I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Okay guys, so I'm just tinkering. We're not doing anything too special, but I decided to throw the grill on. For those that you don't know, this is the first time I'm getting to see it this way. It originally was all black, no chrome, which I did like, don't get me wrong. I'm trying to picture this done, cleaned up. The hood looks like crap right now, and trying to get the look that I want. The plastic down here is normally a lot cleaner and darker. We'll get to that. But I wanted a decent contrast and to kind of make it look new again. Custom, but different. I will still have my SRT8 badge go on here. It's not on there at the moment, obviously. I don't really know how to feel about it. I like the OE style look, but I want it slightly custom to where it doesn't look like every other grill or truck. So I say pretty clean. You guys let me know what you think. I don't know if you go back to older videos or if you follow me on Facebook, what you guys think of just the black grill versus the chrome. But anyways, just kind of tinkering, getting some ideas. But I think we're finally at the stage where this whole nose is coming off. Probably jack it up, take the wheels off, take the suspension off, paint everything, and kind of go from there. All right, so I don't really know how this will go because I don't have a way to prop you up and film. But I'm gonna start taking the front of this off and finding places for everything to go. And we'll get the front end off and see what that looks like. How hard it is, I haven't done it yet. So this is where we have the nose at the moment. So far, it's coming off pretty easy. Intercooler's off. We have the vibrant quick clamps. I'll be honest, still getting used to them, and I'm not trying to scratch them, so it's taking me a little bit to get them on and off. Do not know that I'm taking it apart the correct way or the fastest way yet, because again, this is the first time I've done it, so I don't really know. At the moment, I should only have to undo this bolt and that bolt on both sides, and then undo what is inside here is a bolt, which you can't really see it, but there's a bolt in both of those. The whole core support should come off, fenders should hang there on their own. All the exhaust and all that stuff should be able to support itself, and we'll kind of go from there. So bear with me. I'm gonna undo those 6 bolts, 2, 4, 6, and see how hard it is to get it all out in one piece. All right guys, so this kind of escalated a little quickly. Nose is off. There are some things that I don't like as far as getting the fenders off, which hypothetically should not happen as often as it once did. It happened quite a bit before, mostly due to the way that the turbos and everything were ran. Like, to get the motor out, you had to. Now, the fenders stayed on it. I don't know if I filmed that. The fenders can stay on it. I have not tried, but here shortly, these should pull out and just the turbos will float and the motor can come out. Before I really try any of that, I want to mark the mid-plate mount holes and drill them and get bolts in them, because I would like to try to pull the transmission, mostly because I have never been able to do that in this truck. So I'd like to be able to test to see if I can pull the transmission out without pulling the motor out first. So it wasn't too bad getting the up pipes off, like I was saying. The only thing that really needed to be done was loosening the bottom on this flange for the hot side to move, so it just comes up and then they just pop right out, and real simple and smooth. So I've got them sitting over here with the rest of the stuff, so I don't forget what side and everything and where they go and yada yada. So it's going pretty smooth. Thinking it would probably take me, I don't know, with coolant and everything in it, and obviously wires, but I don't see it taking me more than 30 minutes. And that's probably quite a bit in the schemes of racing, but like, I don't think I'll ever have to replace a motor at the track, knock on wood. But even if I did, I definitely don't think it would take more than 30 minutes. If I was in a situation like that, most likely I have a team with me, which, you know, will get more efficient as we go. But anyways, that's it. That's the way it's looking. I'll probably end up taking the turbos off, I guess, next. Even though I don't want to. I hate taking it apart. It at least looked like it was almost done, but it's not. So we gotta pull it back apart. So I'll probably take those off and continue taking little pieces here and there until I got the mid plate marked. I don't know if I'm just gonna drill it outside of the truck or inside the truck, but either way, just keep going. All right, guys, so actually I believe this to be the next day. It hasn't been that long. I've only been here 10 minutes and I got the transmission out. Granted, I didn't have to undo converter bolts or none of that stuff, starter, yada, yada. But I would say, you know, well seasoned. I'm a little rusty. I was still taking my time on 10 minutes. Let's just say double that. I don't see it taking more than 20 minutes to pull the transmission out. So roughly 20 minutes there, 30 minutes on motor. So it's pretty optimized for the most part. Still not quite ideal. But anyways, we're not doing too shabby. There's essentially just the motor mount bolts are just setting in it. So I am gonna get a chain. I'm gonna pull the motor out. So have the motor obviously out. Wasn't too bad. The bolt is a little tight on the fitment, which is probably good, but it's kind of hard to just push in, pull out. So I might clearance those just a little. So there's a tiny bit of slop, very, very minute. Otherwise, pretty simple. We can see where I marked the mid plate. Obviously there's not a secondary hole. All that looks like crap because before now I beat the crap out of the tunnel to try to make it fit to where I get the transmission out, and could never get the transmission out traditionally. And the motor and everything, front clip always had to come off. So when we put it back together this time, we reshaped the tunnel because I ended up cutting it and beating it and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So we re-welded the inside. Some of you might have seen that. So we got to clean all that up and make it look pretty again, kind of reshape some of it from the outside, and then scuff it down and repaint it. So that's part of the reason. I'm gonna find a place to set this. All my engine stands are currently full, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to set it on the pan, which is okay. I'm gonna buy a new one. But anyways, yeah, let's set it down and kind of go from there. All right, so for now, we're just got the motor sitting right here by the door. This is what the tube front end looks like. Let me try to get some of this stuff out of the way. Had to do some crazy maneuvering here. Got to still shorten this. That's kind of the way the nose is looking. We're starting to develop a mess in the shop, and it's messing with my OCD and ADHD and all the D's. So put this bad boy back in here. Temporarily. We still need to kind of go through that and make sure she's all okay. That's a fully built 727. Reverse pattern, full of the manual, dump valve. Well, it actually doesn't have the dump valves on it, but it's plumbed for dump valves. I need to get those. Trans brake. This is pretty much as bad to the bone as a 727 Mopar can get. Very expensive little piece, built by CRT Trans. So yeah, that's where we're at so far. I'm gonna try to clean up a little bit of this stuff and kind of reset. I guess really the only thing left is to take the suspension off, which really isn't gonna take that long. I've achieved the part that I felt like was gonna take the most time, which was the motor and the tranny. I was curious to see how it all came apart. Now I know. Definitely not too bad. And yeah, so that just gives you guys a better picture of the tube front end. Definitely should be, well, we've determined it's almost 200 or 300 pounds lighter. Can't remember what it was, but it was a lot. It was 133 pounds. That's probably what it was. 133 pounds, it was a lot of weight. So got 2 of the holes drilled for the motor mount plate. I'm gonna probably drill 1 to at least 2 more. At least 1, possibly 2 more I don't like how that one has like an overhang. Granted, it doesn't need a gigantic washer like that, so it's probably fine the way it is. So at least one more hole, so that way the mid plate's kind of in there doing its job, and then we'll go from there. Okay, guys, so it's just me in the shop today. I have sprayed, I'll show you guys. Surprisingly, it worked pretty well. I was pretty skeptical. I don't know about normal automotive paint, but I had some spray paint on there before and put this premium paint remover, and granted a little expensive. I want to say it was like 20 bucks, but it stripped my paint pretty well. And there's quite a few layers. So I'm gonna sit here and wire wheel a little bit more and sand a little bit more. I did buy a fresh can of, so this Colonial Red from Rust-Oleum is pretty decent. You know, it's probably not gonna pick up on camera. It's not exact, but it's pretty dang close. I'm gonna go to O'Reilly's and get some chassis paint. So I might try to compare this to see if I can find an actual automotive paint. If not, you know, being an engine bay, I'm happy with that. So I'm just gonna dust off a little bit and we'll see where we get from here. All right, guys, so a little carried away again, but I tried to stop myself so you guys can see. I started priming this one side. I've got it all smoothed down with what I think is smooth enough, and wiped it down with acetone. Now I'm hitting it with a primer, let it cure. It's a etching and filler primer, so hopefully any little scratches that are in it that are super crazy will kind of go away. I'm gonna put this on because I gotta run to the parts store, let it cure while I'm gone, hit it with some sandpaper when I get back, and go from there. Okay guys, so we have firewall painted. I won't lie, there's a couple of runs, but it looks way better than it did peeling and bubbling and being all crazy. So it's obviously still drying, but it looks a lot better. You know, when the engine's in here and you get wires and everything going, any of the little deep scratches or runs, you're not gonna really see them. I will have this truck painted one day professionally, and all that will get done again anyways. I do have my cross member over here. I put a little bit of chassis paint on it to see if I liked the gloss or if I like the satin better. And not too sure. I would prefer it to be glossy, but it seems to show imperfections more, which, duh, I mean, that's the way glossy paint or anything else is. So I'm probably gonna maybe leave this the way it is and go over another coat and see. But otherwise, if that doesn't turn out the way I want it, the front of this will probably go satin. Enough rambling. We're gonna let the paint kind of cure, and well, if it does what it's supposed to, and I like that, we'll start on the nose. All right guys, so we got the Maven mounts taped off and a couple of little certs. Got it wiped down with acetone. We're gonna go ahead and put our first coat of the satin roll bar chassis. Okay guys, so I have the truck kind of like taped off enough to where I can get a little closer up to the flange here on the firewall without destroying all the paint that I just did. Without destroying all the paint that I just did. This should be most likely the final coat, so let's see what happens and see how it looks when we're done. Okay guys, so as you can see, I've once again pretty much gotten too carried away with myself. I have not done very well at videoing different angles. I am going to change that in the future. I apologize. Kind of get sidetracked and don't really focus on what I'm trying to do. We got the doggos today. At least there's Grizzlies hiding over there somewhere getting a drink. This is the current state of the nose. I kind of just mocked these up for contrast. Normally the turbo and all this stuff should be able to stay on, as I've someone said before, and just pull the motor out. Finished paint. Looks pretty good. Maven mounts. I do still have to paint the core support. I'm probably just gonna do the same thing, take it off, probably sand this down, hit this with red, split the tube with, or spray it with black, so the tube is black. That's kind of where we're at with that. The truck is coming along. I've been kind of sandbagging because the parts that I was talking about doing different powder coat is the camber caster kits, as well as the control arms and the bracketry on the spindle here. So may or may not do that depending on how this goes, but for now, that's the Dakota update. Still trucking along. I'm gonna continue filming after this. I know it wasn't like a real elaborate, great video, but again, I'll do better. I'm rusty apparently, so no excuses, just not doing very good. I can see the areas I can make the videos a little bit more exciting, so I'm gonna try to do that and give you guys better content. Say goodbye to the Dakota for now. Keep it crazy, and I'll see you guys all next time.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world fine? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.